Hi, and welcome to the daisypeel.com online classroom informational video on how the classroom works. This is for those of you who might have questions about the online classes, about whether or not you should take an online class from the daisypeel.com online classroom, and whether or not you should maybe be a worker or an auditor, and what the classes are that you might be interested in. So first I wanted to talk about why would you want to take dog agility classes online, or human conditioning classes online, or structure evaluation classes online, or canine conditioning classes online? How on earth could you possibly learn anything like this online? Well, one of the great things about the online classroom is that you can learn at your own pace. It's what's called an asynchronous learning environment. That means that you can log on at any time of the day or night, get an assignment, and you can do the assignment at any time of the day or night and submit it, and then your instructor will look at that assignment when they log into the classroom and give you feedback. So you can really learn at your own pace, and you can fit your dog training and your conditioning in to your own unique schedule. You can also learn in your own space. Most of the classes, mine included, don't require very much space. The human and canine conditioning classes can be done in your living room for the most part, and the handling and foundation classes for the most part can be done in your backyard. So really, these classes are designed for the most part, there are some exceptions, to be done in your own space. In my online classroom, you're going to get feedback from great instructors. I have heard from a couple of other people that some of those online classes out there, you're either getting feedback from an assistant or you're not actually getting much feedback at all. Our classes are highly feedback driven. Really, that's the one thing that never is going to go out of style, is great feedback. So you're going to get great feedback from me, Daisy Peel, from Helen in the structure evaluation class, from Kristen in the human fitness classes, and from Bobby in the canine conditioning classes. Great and detailed feedback. If you're an auditor, you get to watch that feedback and you can ask questions, and if you're a worker, you get to directly benefit from that feedback. We're in the classroom for several hours each day answering questions. You're also going to be able to supplement classes that you're already taking locally. If you're doing a canine conditioning class online, it's going to work out great because your dog is going to be more fit and more conditioned and more coordinated, so that when you go to your local classes, the both of you are going to benefit. Same with Kristin's human conditioning classes. The human conditioning that you learn in her classes, the physical fitness improvements that you make in her classes, are not only going to supplement your ability to get through sequences in your local classes, but in your everyday activities. So all of the classes that you take online are going to supplement classes you're already taking locally. And for a lot of people, there is no local option that's just close enough for anybody to get to. You can take the online classroom with you. You can view classes on your desktop in your house, on your laptop when you're on the road. You can also view them in mobile and tablet devices. The online classroom can be viewed easily on an iPad, and so can all of the videos. Let's start by taking a look at the classes that I offer, the ones that I'm teaching. First off is my Clear Mind class. It's a class that's focused on goal setting and mental training. So whether or not you're doing agility, rally, obedience, flyball, or water dog sports, or any other dog sport, if you're looking for some help with goal setting and maybe some performance anxiety, this is the class for you. I also teach 2 handling classes, one of which I'm teaching for the very first time this time around. I teach what I call precision handling, and now I'm also offering international precision handling. In these classes, we're going to focus on precise application of the fundamentals. I very specifically don't call these advanced classes because I really don't think there's any such thing as advanced handling. It's just more and more precise application of the fundamentals. So for the precision handling class, whether or not you and your dog are at the novice level or the master's level, these sequences are going to challenge you to more precisely apply the fundamentals of your handling system so that you can more consistently get around a course. In the international precision handling class, this time around I'm offering this class because I want to get a little bit more creative with my course design, and for those of you who are curious about international style courses, this is going to be the one for you. The international handling class is also the only class that's going to require a little bit more space, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. I also offer a foundation class. This is not the same as a puppy foundation class. This is a jump training and handling foundation class. So all of those parts that you need to precisely apply in the handling class, those parts we're going to learn in the foundation class. And I do use Linda Mecklenburg's Developing Jumping Skills program. It's a great jumping skills program. And of course, I also draw heavily from her handling system, as she's been my instructor for years and years. So in this class, we're going to work on recalls to heel on the flat, recalls to heel with jumps, the mechanics of jumping, and then towards the end, some very basic handling. Again, still keeping our eyes on precision handling. I also offer 2 running contacts classes, level 1 and level 2, where in running contact 1, we start from the ground up, and then in level 2, we continue on from there. So some of you are probably thinking, you took running contacts 1 from somebody else, from another instructor, but you're looking to switch over to my online classroom. Can you maybe skip running contacts 1 and go to running contacts level 2? Well, I would tell you that you might consider at least auditing running contacts 1, but if you really think you can skip it, then I would suggest that you send me an email at daisy@daisypeel.com and include in it a couple of short videos, and just let me know visually as well as in writing where you are with your running contacts, and we'll play it by ear if you want to skip running contacts 1 and go straight to running contacts 2. Here's a look at some of the classes that the other instructors, Kristen, Bobby, and Helen, are teaching. First off, we have human conditioning classes that are taught by Kristen Rosenbaugh. This is like having a personal trainer in your own house every day of the week. And I don't know about you, but I can't afford to have a personal trainer in my house every day of the week. But Kristen's classes are fabulous. She's got Functional Fitness Level 1, which is a great class that not only will help you in agility, but it's just what it says, functional fitness, so in everyday tasks. Functional Fitness 2 focuses on multidimensional speed and agility, and then she also has athletic conditioning classes. Bobby Lyons teaches canine conditioning classes level 1 and level 2, and these are great for all types of dogs, from border collies and shelties to corgis and miniature dachshunds. Bobby's going to customize the exercises that you're learning to your specific dog with your specific dog's body type and needs. So if your dog's recovering from an injury, you may want to contact Bobby at Bobby, B-O-B-B-I-E, at daisypeel.com and ask her specifically. But do know that in the human conditioning classes and the canine conditioning classes, the exercises are going to be tailored, and the focus is on progress rather than following a step-by-step recipe. The canine structure class, titled What's Your Angle, is taught by Helen Grinnell King, and it's a way for you to take the content that's in Helen's What's Your Angle ebook and work through it with Helen, holding your hand the whole time, helping you take pictures, helping you assess structure, helping you decide whether or not your assessments jive with the assessments that she would make, learning to evaluate the structure of your dog, which is really great because it's going to help you decide on maybe whether or not you should get that puppy you've been looking at. It's also going to help you tailor an individual canine conditioning program for your dog based on their individual structure. And it's also going to help you assess perhaps why your dog may be having some of those annoying jumping problems. And finally, I also offer some alumni classes. I have a Clear Mind alumni class for those who want ongoing support with performance, anxiety, or goal setting, things like that. Kristen has some human conditioning alumni classes for those who are graduates of her functional fitness classes, and I also have running contact alumni classes for ongoing help and support with running contacts. And in the Clear Mind alumni class, I just started the last session having coaching calls, so once a month we all get together for a coaching call so that we can discuss ongoing issues and also celebrate the milestones that we've achieved. So how does it work? Well, I'm going to take you through a tour of the website, but basically you sign up to either work or to audit. Workers get assignments each week. They submit their assignments in video form typically, and then they get feedback on those assignments. Auditors get to also see the assignments each week, and of course auditors get to ask as many questions as they like, but what they don't get to do is submit their responses to those assignments, and they of course aren't getting the detailed feedback that the workers are getting. You might be wondering how long the classes are. The classes are from 5 to 9 weeks worth of assignments each session. Helen's classes are 5 weeks, and most of the rest of the classes are 9 weeks in length. Once the classes are over, you may be wondering how long you get access to the information. Well, let's say your computer dies halfway through the session and you can't finish the class for some reason, or the house of your dreams comes up for sale and you're in the middle of moving. Well, the good news is that you're going to get access to the information presented in the class for up to 2 months after the session is over. In Helen's class, because it's shorter, the information is only available for a couple of weeks after, but for the rest of the classes, the information is essentially available until the next session of classes starts. So you still get access to that information even when we're done giving feedback. So let's talk about the Agility Foundation class. It's taught by me. It's 9 weeks of class, 8 weeks of assignments, 1 week for catching up. The actual class session, though, is going to take longer than 9 weeks because there are a couple of weeks worth of breaks in there. And if you look on the website, classroom.daisypeel.com, you'll see a calendar that has a schedule for all the classes. But each session is 9 weeks, and there are 8 weeks of assignments with 1 week as a catch-up week. The Agility Handling class and the Agility International Handling class are also taught by me, and they follow the same format. It's 9 weeks of class with 8 assignments. Each week in the Agility Handling class, you'll get 3 to 4 sequences that you will have to submit a response to in video format, and then I'll give you feedback on how the sequences were run. Sometimes I'll have you film the sequences again because there's something that really needs to be addressed, and sometimes not. You'll also see videos of me doing the sequences myself, although I usually wait a couple of days to post that because I really don't want people copying me. What I'm really after is improvement in your own individual style of handling. For the Agility International Handling, that one is going to take a little bit more space because each week I do plan to have a full-length course. However, if you don't have the space, you can still join because I will highlight sections of the course that you could work on in a smaller space. That's the only class that requires a little bit more space. The Clear Mind class, as I talked about before, is a goal-setting class, but it's also a performance and mental training class. So if you've got some performance anxiety that you'd like to get rid of or improve upon, if you'd like to improve the quality of your performances with your dog with respect to the mental game, this is the class for you. We do focus on goal setting as the process by which we improve our mental performance, and I really do think that this class is great for every dog and handler team. Whether or not you have international aspirations or you're just a novice handler and you've never even been to a fun match before, this class is going to help you walk into the ring confidently. I really think it's a little bit of a mistake for us as competitors to wait until we're at the highest level in agility to address this aspect of the game. Those of you who are at the novice level who are thinking that maybe this class is not right for you yet, if you take a class like this and you're at the novice level, you're ahead of the game already, because most people don't even start thinking about the mental game or about goal setting until they're years down the road. Running Contacts 1 and 2. Again, Running Contacts 1 is a 9-week class with 8 assignments. And although they are assignments that I post for everybody to follow, I really, in all the classes, it's a pretty individualized program. So even though there are assignments, it's not a recipe that everybody has to follow like a robot. It's pretty individualized. And towards the later weeks in Running Contacts 1, people definitely tend to spread out a little bit, and the exercises get even more individualized. By the time people get to Running Contacts 2, the number of assignments varies, and the type of assignments varies, and the feedback really is pretty individual. In Running Contacts, I do focus mostly on the dog walk. However, if you're interested in teaching a running A-frame, we can tailor the instruction for a running A-frame as well. I don't address the seesaw because I don't actually teach a running seesaw. I just teach a 2-on 2-off on the seesaw. So dog walk and A-frame only in this class. For Bobby's class, Canine Conditioning and Fitness 1 and 2, it's taught by Bobby. It's 9 weeks of classes. You're going to focus on core strength and conditioning and coordination. Bobby has a list of equipment that, although it's not required, you might need for the class. So an egg or a peanut might be something that you need. The Fit Pods or the balance disc might be something that you would use in the class. A small space and some time. So let's talk about the equipment, the balancing equipment first. Although Bobby does say that you might use an egg or a peanut or the pods or a balance disc, she's also really good at helping people improvise with equipment that they already have. For example, an air mattress can be used instead of an egg or a peanut or a balance disc. Phone books that are wrapped in duct tape, anything that's wobbly or unstable that's sitting around the house, Bobby can help you adapt for your particular dog, whether it's a German Shepherd or a miniature Dachshund. You also need a small space, and Bobby emphasizes that you can use the space between your television and your couch to do this. It really doesn't take much space. And although it may take a little bit more time in the beginning, it doesn't take more than 10 to 20 minutes a day to do this once you get skilled at it and you know what the routine is. So those are Bobby's classes. Let's talk about Kristin's classes. Kristin teaches 3 classes. She teaches Functional Fitness Level 1, Functional Fitness Level 2, which is also known as Multidimensional Speed and Agility, and Athletic Conditioning. These classes are going to focus on just what they say they are. Functional fitness is a great class for you to not only improve your ability to do something simple like a front cross, which is difficult for a lot of people, but simple tasks like bending over to pick something up. Functional fitness means that you are working on ways to improve things that are going to be of use to you in everyday life. And Kristin is really good at individualizing these programs for you, whether you're in your 30s or your 60s. So it doesn't matter how old you are, she can tailor a program for you. And she's really good about going through and figuring out where you're at when you're starting, so you can start at any level, and helping you improve. As with my classes and with Bobby's classes, the focus is on progress rather than meeting particular hallmarks of success. Her classes are 9 weeks as well. And here are some things that you'll need for Kristin's classes. You'll need a Bosu ball for the balance work. And this one is you need for a few of the exercises in the level 1 class, but more in the level 2 and conditioning classes, an agility ladder. And I've actually seen people in some of the classes use tape on the floor or agility ladders that they've made out of rope. So if you don't want to go spend the money on a agility ladder that you can get at the store, you can make one. Bosu balls are also kind of spendy, but you can use the large size balance discs that you can get from FitPaws, and you can also find them used on eBay and Craigslist if you're looking to cut some corners there. Most of the routines that Kristin teaches in her human conditioning classes can also be done in a small space. Some of the power and speed drills that focus on acceleration and deceleration do need a little bit larger space, but you can do them in your backyard. They don't need more than 40 by 40 or 50 by 50 feet. And of course you need some time. Not a whole lot of time. And again, the beauty about these online classes is that yes, you're going to be spending some time on video editing and spending some time responding to the assignments, but one thing that you're not going to be spending time doing is sitting in traffic in your car trying to get to a class. And you can do these at any time. Helen is the 3rd instructor in addition to myself, who is teaching classes in the online classroom, and she's teaching a class called What's Your Angle? Helen's What's Your Angle class is a canine structure evaluation class where Helen takes you by the hand and helps you learn how to take a good photo of your dog and assess their structure. You're going to work through her What's Your Angle workbook step by step with Helen's feedback. It's one thing just to read a workbook. It's really neat to be able to actually work through the steps in this workbook with the author of the book. So here's the things that you'll need for Helen's class. You're going to need a camera or a camcorder. You're going to need to take still photos of your dog, and Helen's really picky about the photos that you take. So the first week is usually spent learning how to take a good photo. Helen says that once you've learned how to take a good photo, it's a snap, no pun intended. Some people find using a still shot from a frozen frame from a camcorder a little bit easier than a camera. So you're going to need either a camera or a camcorder. You're also going to need some sticky dots. like you can get in the office supply section of your local grocery store or office supply store. Yes, you're going to be sticking these to your dog. You're also going to need some video editing software, something that you can use to draw lines on the photos that you've taken of your dog and connect those dots. And don't go overboard here. You don't need anything fancy. You can use Microsoft Paint or any free or inexpensive software program. As long as you can draw lines on top of photos, that's all you need. And you need some patience, lots of patience. That's true for all of the classes. If you're feeling a little intimidated and you're not sure if you can overcome what you view as technological barriers, let me just tell you that Helen is really savvy in the online classroom as an instructor and as a student, and she wasn't sure she could do it at first, but she'll be the first to tell you that you can do it too. It might be a little bit frustrating at first, but you can do it, and Helen will help you in her What's Your Angle classes. So at this time, I'm going to actually take you on a tour of the classroom and let you see what it would look like if you were there logging in as a student. So when you first head over to the website, and the URL is classroom.daisypeel.com, you're going to see that you're not logged in. You're going to see that you have the option to log in, but if you've never taken a class here before, then of course you don't have a username and a password yet, so you can't bother logging in. The very first thing you're going to want to do is figure out which class it is that you actually want to take, and you can see that all of the classes are listed here. You can also read a little bit about what other students have to say about the classes, and you can subscribe to my email list by clicking on Get Updates right here. You can also read about the frequently asked questions, and you can also join the support forum before you even register for any of the paid classes. So that's something that you can do. But let's take a look at, let's take a look at the human conditioning classes, for example. So you can see that there's a description of all of the classes here. Functional Fitness 1, Functional Fitness 2, Athletic Conditioning. And you can actually see also that right now there isn't actually a button available for you to register. There should be a big button here, and there should be a big button here. Those big buttons are going to appear tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time when registration actually opens. But since registration isn't open yet, you're not going to see those buttons. So once you click on those buttons that are going to be there, then up here you're going to see that once you go through the registration process, you're going to be able to log in, actually. So when you log in and click Log Me In, I don't want to remember the password for right now, things are going to change up at the top of the screen. So now if you take a look, you can actually see that things here have changed. It says My Classes, and that wasn't there before. And then it also says Profile, where it used to say Log In. So now you can find your information and activity, update your billing information here, and you can also see what classes you're registered in. So let's go ahead and click on that and see what classes you're registered in. And what you're going to actually see at this point, just after you've paid for a class, is that there's nothing. There's nothing there. So, how come there's nothing there? Well, here's why there's nothing there. Because the very last thing you need to do is to request membership in a class you've paid for. So, since I set this up to demo functional fitness, only the classes that you've paid for are going to show up in this menu. So go ahead and click on the classes that show up, because those are the ones that you've paid for. And you're going to see once you get there that you have to do one more step before you're actually in the class, and that is click that button right there that says Request Membership. Once you do that, the instructor will manually approve your membership after they've checked out your payment details, and then you'll actually be into the class. That can take a little bit of time though, so hit the Request Membership button once and then be patient. Go have a cup of tea, go train your dog, and then when you come back, you'll be in the class. Let's take a look at another class that's actually a completed class so that you can get more of an idea about what's going to go on in a class as the session continues. Here's what the class is going to look like once you've clicked on that Request Membership button and the instructor has approved your membership. You can see that now it says Leave Group instead of Request Membership. You don't want to press this button because you don't want to leave the group. If you leave the group, we're going to have to manually put you back in the group. So once you've requested membership, you can just ignore that altogether. So let's take a look at what it looks like once you've signed up for a whole bunch of classes. As an admin, I'm a member of every single class that we've ever had in the online classroom. So let's take a look at the agility handling class from May 2012. This was a class that started in May 2012, and you can see that the forum has a whole bunch of topics in it. The ones up at the top are called sticky topics. Those are the ones that always stay at the top. They're ones that I've posted, and you can see that they are all the assignments. So here's an example of an assignment. Click on it. This was an assignment that I posted. You can see that I'm posting an image of the sequence, and then I'm actually posting a video of myself doing the sequence. And people can ask questions. Nobody asked questions on this one, but auditors can ask questions as well about the actual assignment. So that was activity 3. Let's take a look at somebody's response to activity 3. Let's take a look at Julie Rigby's topic from assignment 3. This actually is Julie Rigby's forum topic for all of her responses to all of the assignments from the May handling class. And the reason I picked Julie is that Julie's actually in several classes as a moderator, so she can answer your technical questions if none of the instructors or if I am not around. So don't forget Julie. She's a good resource. So here's Julie's response to assignment 1. She posted her video, and then I posted a bunch of feedback. There's my feedback on all the sequences. And then I had her do it again. So there's assignment 1 done again. And then there's assignment 2. We haven't even gotten to assignment 3 yet. Assignment 2, part of it was done again. More feedback. And then it looks like we skipped activity 3, or maybe we're out of order. But you can see that there are video responses, and then there's feedback for each assignment. Let's look at page 2 of her topic. Some people's forum topics end up being 3, 4, or 5 pages long. So some more feedback from me. Julie's asking some questions, some more feedback, and then some more activities, and even more feedback. So there's a lot of feedback and a lot of question asking, and that's the way it should be. Quality feedback for every response, every video response that you guys post for your assignments. And the videos can be posted to YouTube, and then if you just set the link to unlisted, and we can help you with that, then only people in the classroom can see the video, not the whole world if that's the way you want it to be. And also, don't forget, we now have a support forum so that before you even register and pay for a class, you can get support, get your questions answered, and get some help that way to make sure that the online classroom is the right choice for you. So let's just recap real quick how the registration and sign up process works. First, head to the classroom, http://classroom.daisypeel.com, and take a look at the descriptions of the different classes. Check out the classes, read about how they work, decide which class is going to work best for you at this time. Then, the big decision, should you be a worker or an auditor? If you think you're going to be unable to complete the assignments, you might want to just be an auditor. Don't let perceived technological obstacles stand in your way, though, because all of the instructors in the online classroom, and we have some helpers as well, can help you overcome any perceived hurdles there. There's one more category of working student, and that's an in-person working student. And someone had asked this question earlier, what's an in-person working student? Well, an in-person working student, this is for the handling class only, that's for those people who are actually local to me in Oregon. So they're going to be working students in the online classes, but they're also going to get the opportunity to meet with me for a week, for 1 hour, hour and a half each week during the duration of the class. So that's going to be like a regular class for those people where they're going to get in-person feedback in addition to their video feedback. So it's a third level of participation in the handling classes now that I have my own training facility. And then the last step, sign up and register and pay for your class, and then complete your registration according to the instructions. Pretty simple. And there you go. Now, time for some Q&A. So the very first question is actually, will the classes be compatible with the original iPad? I'm pretty sure they will be, but I'm not sure. The thing to check out, yes, actually the answer to that is yes. The classes will be compatible with the original iPad. I was thinking of the webinars. No, the classes will be compatible with the original iPad. It's really easy to view them in the web browser on the iPad. I have an original iPad, and the classroom shows up just fine. So yes, classes are compatible with the original iPad. The next question, human conditioning class. The human conditioning class, is it geared for younger trainers, i.e. in their 30s and 40s? Are they suitable for seniors who do agility with their dog, i.e. 60 to 65 years old? Kristin's having a little bit of trouble with her audio right now, so I'm going to answer this question for her. The answer is both. Kristin, I know, tailors the instruction to every student in the class as an individual. So whether or not you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s, Kristin's going to tailor instruction to your particular needs, because the focus in her classes is going to be on improving your functional fitness and on progress rather than on meeting any one particular standard. So yes. Let's see. Anne wants to know if each instructor could speak a bit more to the differences and benefits of working versus auditing. Sure. So Anne, I'll go ahead and start, and then I'll hand it over to Bobby, and then we can go from there. So the difference between working and auditing in my class. The biggest difference is that in all of my classes, workers are actually submitting responses to the assignments. In the Clear Mind class, they are filling out a worksheet or a form, or they're writing an essay, or they're submitting a compilation video, or their calendars, but they are actually submitting responses to the assignments, and then I'm going over those assignments with them. In all of the other classes that I'm teaching, the foundation, the handling, the running contacts class, that difference, the workers are required to respond to the assignments, and in all of those classes, that means submitting video. So the workers have to get video of themselves doing the assignments and then upload it to YouTube or to other various video services and then submit it into the classroom. The auditors do not get to do that. They can ask questions on the assignment, and they can look at the workers' assignments and see my feedback on those assignments, but they're not going to submit their own assignments. And although it hasn't happened too many times, there are a couple of times when the auditors have really asked a lot of questions and they've gotten a lot out of the class. But I'm not going to obviously be able to give the auditors as much detailed feedback as the workers, because of course there are some things that I just can't give feedback on unless I can see them doing it in their videos. And since they're not submitting videos, then I can't see what they're doing. So that's my classes. Bobby, how about you? What's the difference between and the benefit of working versus auditing?
Well, the biggest benefit would be the detailed feedback. In the videos that each student submits, I can see what their dog is doing, how their dog has distributed their weight, what they're doing, so I can adjust things accordingly to get the desired position. Because if we're strengthening the muscles in the wrong body position, then you're encouraging, poor posture in the dog. So the body positions that I teach are pretty important. So the auditors ask a lot of questions. I often have auditors who audit the first class and work the second class because they see the detailed feedback that they get.
Right. And we do have the ability to upgrade in the first week. If you want to upgrade from an auditor to a working spot, you can do that in all of the classes as well.
Yes.
Helen, how about you? What's the difference between working and auditing in your class?
The workers get feedback from me as to where they've place their dots, where the landmarks are on their dogs. if their dog is having some trouble, say, with jumping, we can explore why. Does it hit bars? Why? Does it turn poorly? Why? Acceleration, that kind of thing. And the auditors, again, just like the other classes, get to ask all the questions they like, but they don't get the one-on-one personal feedback and discussions about their dog and its performance.
Okay. I think that the thing that you guys are going to see overall, and you'll see it even more once we ask Kristen the same question, is that as a worker, one of the things that you're going to get is a level of accountability. You have homework and you have to do it. And so for all of these classes, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I find that that level of accountability is quite often the thing that actually gets me to go out and do the training or the conditioning or learning a new topic. It's the accountability. So, Kristen, how about you? The difference between a working spot and an auditing spot. And I do have to apologize. Kristen's audio setup, of course, it's my fault, but it wasn't optimal. So you might have to listen to it a couple of times to see if you can make out what Kristen's saying, but do your best, and hopefully it'll work out for you.
The auditing spots, as you all have described, they have access to the information that's presented, but it's the workers that are getting the individual plans. They're getting individual help with their exercise programs, and if they would like to submit video to check their form, they are more than welcome to do that. I don't require the video because some people don't really want to put that out there. But they're more than welcome to submit that to get some feedback on their form and how they're executing the exercises. And the other thing regarding accountability is with the workers, they are required to submit their exercise logs on a weekly basis, so we can keep track of everything you are doing.
Yeah, and I actually, just as an aside, I'm actually signed up for Kristen's Functional Fitness 2 multidimensional speed and agility class this time around, and the reason I'm signing up for it is, of course, to get the feedback and the good feedback and the good exercises, but the accountability. I really need the accountability. If I don't have the accountability, I just don't do it. So I'll be in that one. And I've taken all of the classes so far, but that's the one I'll be in this time around. Jean asks, she couldn't figure out how to sign up for the handling classes, so I'll just remind you guys that they are not open for registration until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you try and go to the site just before that, you're going to see that I've actually closed it down with a friendly little message saying to be patient, and then at 9 a.m. Pacific time, I'll open it up. Let's see, Tracy wants to know, are there any sequences in the foundation course, or are those introduced once you get into the agility handling class? That's a pretty good question because there are sequences toward the end of the foundation course, but I'm really working on those fundamental pieces in the foundation course that you need to put together in the agility handling class. So in the agility handling class, I actually have students with pretty novice dogs that I've recommended take the handling class, but I also have students with master's level dogs that I would recommend take the handling class, because whether or not the dog is a novice or a master's level dog, you're still going to benefit from the same sequences. It's just that I'm going to demand a higher and higher level of precision depending on your and your dog's experience level. So in the foundation course, there are a couple of sequences at the very, very end, but we're really focusing on all of those fundamental pieces. And then in the handling class, we're working on putting those pieces together with as much precision as we can possibly put them together. So there have been some real novice teams in the handling class that are there for their first time around. There may be an open level or just come from the foundation class. And so we take those sequences and we modify them to the level of the dog and handler. And then there are other people in the handling class that are at the master's level or even the international level who are benefiting from the handling class because, again, it's all about more and more precision of applying those fundamentals. Someone else wants to know handling using Mecklenburg style. Yes, I think it's probably no big secret at this point that I got almost all of my skills from Linda Mecklenburg, and I think that her jumping and handling program is fabulous. Developing jumping skills and developing handling skills are both really great programs, and I'm much happier to be resourceful in using them and to work on teaching them to the best of my abilities instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. So yes. Agility Foundation class, the age of pups to do the exercises, I would say at least 10 months old. We're not doing a lot of strenuous things, but I would say they need to be at least 10 to 11 months old. If it's a larger dog, then I would say 11 to 12 months old. I don't currently have any classes for young dogs 5 months old or around there. But I'm not ashamed to say that Sylvia Turkman has some online classes as well, and she's got some fabulous tricks classes. And again, she's doing a great job. I think that you guys, if you've got a really young puppy, you should check her tricks classes out. They're really great. And then come on back over here for handling. Coaching calls. If you're in the ClearMind class, coaching calls will be available if you cannot make the specified time. So, and then there was another question about coaching calls. Coaching calls, yes, I will be recording them. So if you can't attend the live call, you can listen to them. For classes, do registered students get advance notice of the equipment required to use in the class? Oh yeah, yep, that's an old question. And Bobby answered it. Let's see. Kristen asks, would I recommend my running contacts course for a dog that has been competing for some amount of time using 2-on, 2-off, or is it more geared for newer dogs? Well, here's my answer to that. If you want to join the running contacts class, I can help you retrain your dog from a 2-on, 2-off to a running contact. But the big question to ask yourself is, which path do you take so that your dog does the fewest additional repetitions of any contact for the rest of its life? So, for example, I have a dog named Jester. He's 9 years old. He's done a certain number of A-frames in his life. And at one point, a couple of years ago, I thought maybe I'll retrain him to have a running A-frame. But then when I really thought about it, I thought, if I retrain him to have a running A-frame, he's going to have to do dozens, maybe hundreds more A-frames. But if I just worked on making that 2-on, 2-off as good as it could possibly be, since it's a behavior that really he already knows, I can avoid doing any more A-frames than are absolutely necessary. And so that's what I did. I decided not to retrain him because I didn't want to do the repetitions required to do it. He was 7 or 8 at the time. If your dog is sound and you're committed to the process, we can do it. But make sure that you're not doing it because you think it's going to decrease wear and tear on your dog, when in fact it may increase wear and tear because you have to do more repetitions. Pembroke Corgis. This is a question for you, Bobby. Leslie has Pembroke Corgis. Can they benefit from the conditioning class? She's a little concerned about the long backs.
Yes, they absolutely can benefit. I actually do a workshop up in Monroe, Washington, where the entire group is Corgis. And one of the worst things that you can do with a Corgi is not do core and back strengthening exercises, because that makes their back weaker. So the best thing that you can do is find the exercises that strengthen those muscles to support that long back. A lot of vets will say, don't do anything, and that's because they're afraid that the owner is going to hurt the dog, when in actuality not doing anything to strengthen those muscles is what ends up hurting the dog.
Okay. We've had several people that said that they had a hard time understanding Kristen. I'm sorry about the audio quality. We'll see what we can do about that. And we'll keep on with the question. So running contacts class covers all three: dog walk, teeter, and A-frame. I focus primarily on the dog walk because I have found that if you work on the dog walk, the A-frame comes along for the ride. However, if you don't want to do the dog walk and you just want to have a running A-frame, then we tailor the exercises for that. The seesaw I do not cover in the running contacts class because I don't actually teach a running seesaw. I teach a 2-on, 2-off on the seesaw. I think this question is for Bobby as well. Do you show exercises that can be used for keeping older performance dogs strong?
Yes, actually, all of the exercises we do in class, older dogs can do. We just may change the repetition and or the length of time that they spend doing the exercise.
Okay. Okay. The next question is for Kristen. Is there a minimum fitness requirement to take Functional Fitness 1?
Okay. No, there is no minimum fitness requirement, so anybody is welcome.
Okay. Fabulous. Another question on the contact class. I have a stop dog walk but want a running A-frame. Again, we can do it. I'm happy to help you, but do consider total number of repetitions and is it going to be worth it for your dog? At what age do I recommend people start with the running contacts? I would say that the dog needs to be probably 10 to 11 months old or so, same age as for the Agility Foundation class. Oh, yeah. And this is for Helen. The damn photos. It really is all about the photos. And yes, there is a lot of you will get good at taking pictures of your dog in Helen's class because she's really picky about making sure that the photo is good.
The thing is, Daisy, once they understand how to evaluate their dog with a perfect photo, then it will be much easier to evaluate dogs with less than perfect photos.
Well, that's about all the time we have for questions and answers. I'm sure that people have a lot more questions, and the best way to get those questions answered about how the online classroom works is to head over to the actual website, classroom.daisypeel.com, and check out the FAQ page and the support forum. And thanks for coming tonight. This was the first big webinar that I did. We actually had 100 people show up. There were over 200 people that registered, so I know that there are some people who are disappointed that they didn't get in. And I really hope that it was worth it for you guys, and I hope that it gave you some more insight as to how the classroom works. And I'm definitely using these sorts of webinar meetings as coaching calls in some of the classes, the handling classes and the Clear Mind classes. Mostly the Clear Mind classes for now, but the handling classes are coming in the future. So don't forget, registration for everybody opens tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and the website again is classroom.daisypeel.com. Thanks for coming.